Hi Lucy, it's so good to meet you. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Lucy Dirnu.
Tell me your Romanian name.
Lucica, in Romania, I was Lucica Șerban.
And where were you born?
I was born in Balotești, 50 kilometers from Bucharest.
And what year? And tell me about your family.
Yes. I was born in summer of June 12th, 1959. In a big family. We are 7 sisters and 2 brothers. Grew up on a farm in Dumbrăveni. Actually, the location was Dumbrăveni, about 3 kilometers from Balotești and 15 from Bucharest. It was a beautiful farm, and growing up, I learned hard work as well as persevering to study, and we had wonderful memories on that farm. Yes.
What was it like growing up on a farm in Romania?
It was, as a children, we didn't know that there was any better. We played a lot. We have a lot of animals to take care of, and my parents actually are gardeners, so we help with the growing vegetables, where we fed ourselves and the community around us. My parents actually grew up tomatoes and cucumbers and all kinds of spring and summer vegetables that would feed the community around us. And that's how actually my father worked at auto paint at Tarom. Was an employee for about 30 years there, working as a technician for maintaining airplanes. He would take me as a child there to introduce me to his co-worker, and the stewardess would give me tours of the airplanes, and that was the highlight of my summer, because they will spoil me there, give me all kinds of sweets and treat me like a princess. And I wanted to become a stewardess because I loved the way they were dressing at that time.
So what about on the farm? Was it a community farm or was it a private farm?
It was a private farm. Yes, we all working on that farm as a family, and like I say, we had a lot of looking back, we did not know any better. We worked hard, but we had a happy childhood. Apart from a crowd, apart from any danger, we were just happy growing up. Yes.
Did you have to work on a community farm and a private farm, like a communist farm? Or
yes, that's very true. We were obligated to put work in the communist farm as well. So the parents needed to do a quota of hours on the communist farm, but we had to manage both our farm and doing that quota of hours for the Communist Party. So we would do our quick homework, and when we come home, and then we go with our parents working. And even when we were taking the animals out for feeding them, we would have to bring our books and do the homework right there, because after that we had to go again and work and do other house chores. Yeah, we learned hard work, and that was a blessing, because that discipline follow us all throughout adulthood.
So tell me about where did you go to school after that, after primary school?
Primary school, I done it there in Dumbrăveni. After 8th grade in Balotești, I decided to go to Bucharest to follow. I was I love mathematics, but at the same time I love science. So the only way to study science would be to go to a chemistry high school, and which was usually they are 4 years, right? But this was 5 years specialized chemistry in although in Bucharest. And about that time, my parents decided to buy us a place in Bucharest, where we all, because each of us, we were 2 years apart, 9 children, we all will go to Bucharest schools. Already ahead of me, I'm the fifth one in the family. They were 4 of us all already there, finishing colleges and all of that. So they bought a house there, and I was going to college for 5 years in Bucharest, where I graduated, and they actually recruited me to an Institute of Research in Bucharest, um, research for polystyrene and other specialties, where the president wife was the boss of that institute, and she would come and give us lectures and all of that. But yeah, at that point, yeah, I was going to, and then while I was recruited for that, to go to that institute, because I was having a very good performance in high school, I actually went to college, and during college I worked for that institute as well. So I did study chemistry, actually engineering, technology at the Polytechnical Institute in Bucharest, while working during the day and going to classes during the night.
So how many years did you work at this research institute?
For about 5 years I worked there. But when I graduated from college, that's when I really hit a wall as far as developing my career, because they would not promote me in that institute, because all surrounding me was only Communist Party people, which were very much involved. Even my boss was the head of one of the community party, and he would take walks with me around the institute, telling me how disappointing he is that I don't want to become a Communist Party member, because that meant to deny that I believe in God. There is no God. That's what the Communist Party lines had. If you want to join them, that's one of their lines. So I was a very strong Christian. I grew up in a church. My mom will take us when we were baby. We grew up on going to church. Not necessarily that I received Christ in my life a little bit later in life. I mean, probably 18 years old or something like that. But what I'm saying is that I had a strong belief, and I could not give up on that. So
so he would take you on walks
and just convince me that if I want to have a bright future, I will need to become part of a Communist Party, because look at him. He had a family and all of that. The poor guy, he didn't know that that was not the future, because in a few years I heard he divorced, and there was a disaster in his family. But praise God, God was on our side, and I did not want to give up my faith to become a Communist Party, but they would not give me either a promotion to become a scientist there in the institute or chemist function.
How many times did they try to persuade you?
Oh my goodness, so many times. And at the end, because my parents, seeing a lot of persecution on my other siblings as well, they decided to join. I already had a sister moved in the United States in 1980, and we decided to put our request for leaving the country to join our sister. I had an aunt also in Chicago, So we decided to ask to leave the country, but that was not easy.
How do you decide to move the whole family over? That's a big decision.
That's a big decision. But once my parents made up their mind that the children would have a better future in a country where faith and belief is honored, not suppressed like we were suppressed there, everybody aligned to that decision, and we are a family of 21 people with my siblings ahead of me. They were married, having children, families, and after me, my siblings were not married, but yeah, we all put our request in, and that was a hard decision because we leave our church behind, our friendships and our memories and all of that, but we had to persevere in that, and we are looking forward to have freedom and not be suppressed by their philosophy about life. And
what about your other siblings? What were their jobs, or what specializations did they have?
Oh, okay. My oldest brother, he was already engineer, transportation. Then I had a sister. She was a nurse, Cornelia, yeah, and there was another sister. She was a technician in the laboratory. Yeah, each one of us had already a career, I would say, up to the other three sisters after me and the brother who were younger, and they were still in school. But yeah, here I was chemist, but I was not practicing that. I was still a laboratory technician working in a lab with a degree in my wallet, but they would not. They actually sent me to a coal manufacturer, far from the center of Bucharest somewhere. A coal manufacturer was really not a good place to work because there was a lot of environmental impurity around you. I spent there the last days before I came here because they heard that I request to leave the country, and my boss was very upset with me for not accepting to become a Communist Party member, and he dishonored me. He said, we don't have a place for you here anymore. You can go move. Thanks God they still gave me a job there, but not accepting me in their surrounding anymore in the institute, even though I worked for about 5 years there. So we waited there with other people who were doing the same thing, asking for reuniting with their family in the United States, or waiting for that approval, which for us took about 4 years. That's not a long time compared to other people, which I knew, and it took like 10 years or so. But the reason we got approved in 4 years only was that, because I was the one having a little bit more time on my hand, I guess, or I was very perseverant. I took over the writing of all of those memorandum to ask them to let us go. So every so often I will sit down and write the reason why they have to let us go. So I was on a mission. I will send them one after other, and they will deny. Then they will keep denying all our requests, because I will talk for everybody in that letter, but they will keep denying us. And said, no, you don't have the right to leave. And I will say, yes, we do have the right to leave. And then one of the reasons they will say that, oh, you have to pay your schooling, even though the schooling at that time in Romania was free. So I did go through college without paying, but now they said if you're gonna go and profess somewhere else, you're gonna have to pay. It made sense to me, but at the same time was not true. I knew it was a trick in order to scare me, that actually that is going to be something that I will say, oh, I don't have the money and I cannot pay, so I will give up on that request. But one of my cousins in Chicago, I told him, and he did write a letter saying, don't worry, I'm going to pay everything you owe there. Just send this to them, that I take all the responsibility for your education, and I will pay it how much you owe them. And I did take that letter, I put it in my memorandum. Actually, I went in person and I showed them that, and probably they considered that. But anyway, the father, I realized that we're gonna be dragged away for many years, so my decision was to go and meet the president. And actually, how do you meet the president? It's just by he would parade through Bucharest sometimes, you know, with a long convoy of cars, where people would get that day off and come and applaud him, Ceausescu, Ceausescu, and being happy and showing that respect towards the president. I decided, I wrote a memoriam to him and addressed exactly to Ceausescu, and tell him about our time of waiting for 40 years, and we cannot build more, family there or anything, because we already made up our mind that we're gonna leave, and that's our right to reunite with my other family which are in United States. So how I did that, I did wrote a letter, and my mom and my dad was with me. I gave one to my dad, one to my mom, and while everybody was busy clapping and applauding Ceausescu with his convoy, my dad ran in front of Ceausescu's car and gave him the letter. Handed the letter, but the police was all over him. He pushed him down, dragged him in the crowd, and started beating him. I saw I ran to him to save him, but my mom was smart enough to realize that she had the second letter, and she ran ahead and gave it to Ceausescu, because everybody was busy with my dad, the police at that moment, and she the was a lot of commotion going on. The convoy stopped, and my mom went and told the police, stop beating him, stop beating my husband. I already gave the letter. And then they heard through the communication that we should be taken, the family should be taken, whoever gave the letter, to the office and see what's the problem. So we were honored to be put in a car. We didn't own a car at that time. We walked there at that parade. So they took us to an office where they interviewed me and my mom and my dad, and we told them what's on our heart, that I've been already graduating from college. I have a lot of experience in research. I've been depromoted to go to a whole manufacturing instead of working in a research center. I already had 5 years of experience in there, but they would not consider that. And so I was done with my career. It looked like I was dead. That's it. They put a cap on me because I don't want to become a Communist Party member. And here I was a young, just graduated, 23 years old. So, and they said, okay, they took the interview and made notes and all of that, and they said, well, go home, and I promise you'll have an answer in a week or so. And they kept their words. Probably they thought those people are very stubborn. We got to get rid of them. They are totally over the head with their belief, and it's not good for us anymore. So we did receive a answer in a couple of weeks. We were so happy that was a positive instead of negative, because always was a negative for 4 years. So praise the Lord. We sing and clap, and we are so happy, and finally, yeah, we settle everything that we're gonna leave. And our church was very sad that 21 people left in one day, and they actually, all the youth from that church came with us all the way to the border, because we departed by a train in Italy. We stayed for a month in Italy, and then we came to Chicago, where we lived for a year and a half, and then we moved on to California.
Do you remember the day when your father and mother gave the
letter?
What was the date?
Oh my goodness! So I would say that was kind of a winter time, because I know it took only a few more months before we left, and we left in March of 2004. So it was I don't recall exactly the day, but was between fall and winter in Romania, because like I say, it did take a few more months. And in March of 2004, we left Romania, and on the 24th of March, we arrived in Chicago. I mean, no, not, hold on. Okay, actually, we stayed for a whole month in Italy first, and then we went to Chicago.
So that was in March 24th?
Yes. 84.
84.
Yeah, 84.
And you...
so I'll have 40 years of America pretty soon.
So what was it like to apply? How do you apply to leave your country? What's the process? Do you put a paper at the police station? Where do you go? How do you do that?
Oh, they were... yeah, you asking me to recall 40 years ago? Yeah, there were actually, offices where you go and apply for it. I don't think we went to consulate, that's how you call it back there. And there was a lot of paperwork. Actually, my siblings are all thankful to me, because I was the one applying. I was the one doing all the paperwork. When we came here, they all were very thankful to me and saying, you brought us here. Because I'm the one very perseverant in the family, seems like, and do the diligent work. Yeah, and not that they're not, but I was the one staying in front of the game. Yes.
And when they declined, did they give a reason why? Or
the reason was that we don't have enough reason to go or to leave. And like I say, one of the reasons was you speaking for all your family, but we educated you here. We want to use you, but at the same time, they will not use me because I didn't want to become a communist party. So they did pay for my education, but in the same time, they wanted to brainwash me. There is no God, so I did not want to fall for that.
What else was in the, if you remember, in the Communist Party, in the platform, or what they wanted you to believe? What do you have to accept or decline or deny?
Oh, first, there is no God. Your God should be whatever we say, right? That there is, all kinds. I even didn't study that, whatever they have the philosophy, because I was very determined that I love God. I love Jesus, who gave his life for me, and he loves me so much that I will not betray him for nothing in the world. So that I was, fresh, not fresh, but my first love towards Jesus, and I will never betray him. Yes. And like I say, I did go probably for the work to become a military. That was obligation through the schooling to I I don't know how that was called at that time, to teach you how to shoot and whatever, yeah,
military service,
military service and stuff. But that was called differently, not necessarily. But even women were trained for that. Yeah.
You also mentioned Mrs. Ceausescu. Did you meet her? Did you see her?
Oh, many times. Yes, in our conference room, she would come and read from eloquent, speech, but not with the essence. You could say that somebody wrote that for her. Unfortunately, yeah.
A lot of stories are out there about her receiving the degree and being completely fake. Did you see that, or how did you experience that?
Not necessarily that I experienced that, but you could tell that she was not speaking from herself, but she would read the notes of somebody who wrote something for her there, giving us some appreciation for the work we've done in that institute, but at the same time not giving us a lot of guidance, even though she was the president of that institute, right? So there was not much knowledge, I would say, or giving guidance for future or visions. She would not have a clear vision, I would say, even though I was young. I was very young at that age when I was listening to her speeches.
How old were you when you were listening?
Oh, yeah. I left Romania at about 22, 23 years old. So probably I was my 1920, during these years, while I was in college, I was listening to her speeches. Yes.
So why do you think it's important to tell your story, or to tell your story now?
Well, there is probably something you learn from here. First of all, that God loved us so much. He wanted the future for his children, and he saw our desire and he fulfilled it because we wanted to serve him. I remember always I had in mind, Lord, that was my prayer. If you take me in the United States, I want to serve you. I will love to always be in your school. And he fulfilled that desire by heart. I feel like crying because I didn't look much for it, but I've been in Bible Study Fellowship, BSF, for now 24 years, and I've been a leader there. God gave me a group of women in that organization, which I shepherd, and every year 15 women in my group, helping them to study God's word. Not that I teach the word, but I'm leading them, shepherding them. So I'm still there even now, and that's a privilege to serve God. And I always go back thinking of my prayer, growing up and going through all of this, telling him that I will serve him, and he did find a place for me to serve. I will never give up that.
That is an amazing commitment, and an answer to prayer.
Yes.
What about your family and your career here in the U.S.? How did those develop?
Oh my goodness, he blessed me so much. Daniel, I've been blessed. I remember getting my first job here as a chemist, statewide chemist for California. I could not believe it. I didn't know much English at that time. I was fresh in California because we moved from Chicago in California in a year and a half. In that year and a half, I went rigorously to school learning English, and I was crying at the same time because, like I said, I wanted to be a stewardess, but my English was not that good. I did not connect to foreign language that well. I knew mathematics, but not English. So Anyway, I was crying and learning English, but I said, Lord, give me a job because probably that way I will learn English faster in my profession. And that was true. God was faithful. Um, I saw advertising for a job and they were wearing a suit. And I said, what's that? Uh, I applied for the job and I got the interview, and I did not know exactly what's about. I knew it was about some chemicals involved there. They were talking about a spill team organization, or was a contractor of Caltrans here in California. So they needed a statewide chemist. So here I had interviewed a gentleman who was also, his parents were immigrants here, and as I told him that here I don't know a lot of English, but I just arrived a year and a half in United States, I'm still learning English. He said, don't worry, my parents went through that, I know what you're going through. So he would put the question, he would answer the question for me. He said, isn't it that you know this and this? Yes, yes. So I only nod my head and I said yes, and God was so good to me. He gave me the job as a statewide chemist. My office was in Hayward, where they had a few aircrafts, and I would go with my team, a few boys, on mission to clean up the spills whenever a spill occur in a crash accident or busted labs for drugs and stuff like that. I would have to identify the unknown. I had a portable lab, and that way they will go on the news. If we had a spill on the freeway, for example, on San Mateo Bridge, we had a spill, and there was probably only a powder. So I tested it. It was just neutral, but there was channel 7, channel 5, and I didn't go in front of the camera. But my boss would go and say, my chemist tested that this is not a hazardous material. We're gonna take care of it. We get her instruction how to pack this hazard, not hazard, but material, and the freeway would be free to go in half a day or something like that. So it was exciting because I love to be in that airplane, flying all over California, from Redding to Bakersfield, and I felt closer to God. I did not, I was not married at that time, but in that time I met my husband. So after 2 years, I had to give up my job because my husband did not like me being away from home that long, because I would stay like 2 weeks in a place to clean the spill and do all the work there. But that's how I learned English. They gave me that possibility to practice my English there in my profession. And from there, I always hold a job as a scientist. I worked for 13, 14 years for Thermo Fisher Scientific. God bless me so much. I put my kids through college. I worked another 12 years for contact lenses research. I developed a new era of contact lenses. My son wears my contact lenses even now. He blessed me so much. I'm so thankful. He gave me a place where to serve him, and he gave me a place where to be a witness. I would have a walking prayer lunch with my coworker. I invite everyone who wants me to pray for, and I've done that for many years, and I was a blessing to know people who needed prayer and then finding out about that. So yeah, it's been a journey of joy and blessing all along.
Thank you for sharing that. Well, I guess one last question. We keep trying to find out, answer this question. How do people get to the point to where they lose their freedom, like you had, like Romania had lost it? How do people get there? Do you have any thoughts on that? How do people get to the point to where they lose their freedom?
Oh, they lose their, because they gave in to whatever they been. You mean how do the people they lose their freedom?
Yeah, how did Romania get to the point where people couldn't leave when they wanted to? How did Romanians lose their freedom to leave the country? Like not you personally, but all of Romania. How do people get in that position in the first place?
Oh, in the first place, I don't know if I know to answer correctly that question, but I'll try. Probably not persevering in what they believe and freedom. God made us free to serve Him and to enjoy Him, and some people give in and they goes under their whatever they say. Probably they are not persevering to find that freedom. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's satisfying your.
No. I'm just curious what your perspective is on that, because that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I'm curious myself why they would give up, not finding the real freedom is knowing Jesus, right? He makes you free, right? But then the people makes put us regulation around us, right? But we have to find freedom in Jesus and what in His love, right?
Lucy, thank you. That was an amazing story. Thank you for your courage, and thank you for the courage of telling your story. And I hope it'll be a testimony for others.
Amen. Amen. I hope so too. God bless. Bye bye.